Greetings and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am yours truly, Omar Stennett, aka the Manning's Man. And today we have a next big one for you. We have some special information that we want to share with you. Before we get into that, a little bit of difference with this video today. I have my chimes on the outside. It's very windy, so you're going to hear some of that, but I love it. You're going to love the video with that little sound in the background. Also have an very special announcement. We have hit 700 subscribers in less than 7 months. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means that we're going at 100 subscribers per month, just a very small platform, and that is because of you, because you have subscribed, because you have liked a video, because you have shared a video. You are a part of the I Am Sure gang. Yes, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Thanks to Irie Times TV that shows our content over there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So check them out, Irie Times TV. I mean, they have some wonderful Caribbean, Jamaican based programs over there that you need to watch and give them some support. All right, again, thank you so much, and wherever you're watching us from, good day, good morning, good evening, and good night. Yes indeed, as Tommy Cowan would say. All right, so let me share with you a few things. Today we're gonna get into some cricket and some football, of course, in particular the Reggae Boyz and the upcoming World Cup campaign. All right, but let's get into some West Indies cricket. Now, the test series between the West Indies and Pakistan ended on Tuesday with the final test at Sabina Park, and Pakistan won the second test, leveling the series. So the series ended 1-1. West Indies won the first test at the same venue because I think Pakistan gave the game away. I think they took too long to start bowling at the West Indian team, and they just batted also very poorly. But their bowling lineup is just as good as the West Indies bowling lineup. The thing is that their batting is way better than the West Indies batting lineup. If there are any standout performance from a West Indies perspective, I would say the youngest player in the team, Jaden Seales, really gave a good account of himself. Along with Kemar Roach, I think he bowled well, and also Holder bowled well. I think everybody else, with the exception of the captain, who had a couple of good innings. He made a 97 and made 30 out in the second inning of the last game, but occupied the crease in all games. And I think the first game he was out with a very excellent delivery. And so when you look at the West Indies team, you had only three players having above average performance, with one of those I'd categorize as good, which is Jaden Seales, and the other two are just average. And the Pakistan side, I mean, they had player making century, several players taking wickets, and other players scoring consistently throughout the series. And this is an ongoing problem with this crop of West Indies players. I've been watching West Indies cricket as far back as I can remember. Being a youngster in the 80s and in the 90s, I didn't get some of those glory days. But since Viv Richards retired or gave up the captaincy, and Richard Richardson, I can give it that, became the captain of the West Indies team. You had the Courtney Walsh, you had the Jimmy Adams, you had the Brian Lara, all of these guys. I mean, it has been Wavell Hines. It has been bad performance after bad performance after bad performance. And I have consistently heard at the test level that West Indies are turning a corner every time we win a test. Right? We instituted the high performance center, all of these things, and we keep going back to turning a corner. We have been trying to turn this corner from the late 1990s. We're almost approaching the 2030s, and we're still turning the corner. This must be the longest corner in the history of mankind. Listen, Let's get on a highway and come off this heap of corner and twists and turns, hills and valleys. Let's go on a highway and get the cricket going. No, I think this present coach needs to be changed. His name is Phil Simmons. Phil Simmons needs to be changed. We need to change this coach. No success. People are going to tell me about he win that he won. Won what? In the context of what he has lost. He has a failing record when compared to the amount of defeats he has under his belt. The team is not improving. That's what I'm saying. The team has not improved. Since the 1990s, we have not had a team, with the exception of when Brian Lawrence, Shivner, and Chandra Paul were there. We have not had 6 batsmen playing well consistently for any long period of a time. What we have produced is bowlers. The Courtney Walsh, the Courtney Ambrose, the Benjamins, the Franklin Rose, all of these guys, the Patrick Patterson, Sunil Narayan, if you want to look at some of these guys. But we have not been able to produce good enough batsmen. But I'm not here to give you all the problems. I propose to you my solution. I propose to you my solution. These players must be paid based on performance. In other words, we're going to give a standard salary for all those who have contract with West Indies. Basic pay. And when you perform, you get incentives that increases that. Number 1. Number 2, the rope for the players need to be shortened. What do I mean by that? It is full time that when players fail, that they are dropped. Because they are a bunch of bad, underperforming players. So we drop them. You fail in this test, we're not giving you the next test. You're dropped. We're bringing somebody else so they can take their game seriously. When you are out the same way over a series of test innings, you are suspended. Drastic action. You cannot have players getting out the same way over 8 innings, people. 8 innings. And the 8 times you're out the same way. And you still warrant a space in the team. This is not Dolly House. This is one of the unifying forces of the Caribbean people. There's no pride. No, the other problem I have is that we need to make up our mind. If people want to go and play professional T20 cricket, that's fine. But you cannot represent the West Indies if you are good enough to play T20 and refuse to play in the test matches. Once we think you can play in the test matches and we call you and you refuse to play because you want to focus on T20, you cannot play for our T20 team. Go and play club T20 cricket because that won't last. You see what is happening in the pandemic? I want to know why people like Pollard can't be in the test team. Kyron Pollard can't be in the test team. Why Hayden Walsh can't be in the test team? Even if it is 4 overs, his 4 overs is better than the 50 that the other spinners are bowling. Why Nicholas Sporan can't be playing test cricket? What is the matter with these people? I don't get it. Why Evan Lewis can't be playing test cricket for the West Indies? This fascination with T20 and you can't play test cricket. The people playing in the test team, they are not staying out there taking up deliveries. I am mad. This is madness. And it needs to stop. The players in our test team are batting in a similar fashion to the players on the T20 team. So why can't the successful T20 batsmen play in the test side? Tell them to play their regular one-day inning. going after the deliveries. Yes, they're going to get out, but it don't make a difference because those in the test team aren't doing any better. As Jamaicans would say, it is 6 of one and half dozen of the other. It don't change the price of rice. Get your best batsmen in the team. Even if they are good in the T20 format, put them in the test team. Because they are doing better than those. None of these guys can bat in the opening position better than Evan Lewis. Joshua De Silva cannot bat as good as Nicholas Pooran. Jamal Warrakan cannot bowl as good as Hayden Walsh. What about the other under 19 players? Why Hetmeyer not in the team? Why isn't Chevron Hetmeyer not in the team? Why? What is Ralston chasing? The man faced 18 deliveries without playing a scoring shot and got out. Ducks. Blackwood not sure if he wants to play test cricket or one-day cricket. So we don't put him in the one-day side, but we put him in the test side to play one-day innings. When we have other batsmen in the one-day side playing better than him, who are people? Tell me who the selectors are. Because these people are driving us mad with their insanity. I could stay here all day. Talk about West Indies cricket. Turning corner from 1990. From 1990 we turn in the corner. If I were riding a bicycle, I'd finish the corner. If I were walking, I'd finish the corner. If I were a snail crawling, I would finish the corner. And I'll know West Indies can't come around the corner. I think we need to just change the road that we're on. Put them on a highway where there are no corners. Coach, you need to go. Whoever the person is who is in charge of batting, you need to be fired. And you need to stay away from cricket. Because you cannot get batsmen to play simple shot. I don't want to talk about Kieran Powell, who taking a third run in a game that we're trying to tie. A third run. And the man strolling like people running out to get ice cream when the ice cream truck passing. Strolling out for the third run. Didn't even put down his bat. He was so casual. You need to be a casualty. Come off the team. I kid you not. People, we must demand change. And tell our administrators that if they can't get it better, withdraw from test cricket and build with some youngsters. But we demand change. Not justice, change. And it must begin now. Let's move on to some football. News broke. Not good news. Very difficult to absorb. And my hope and prayer and desire. I am sure sports is confident. And I am sure sport is believing that something will be done in the next 7 days to get this fixed. Let's put hands and hearts together, because this that I'm about to share with you is critical to Jamaica's World Cup qualification. Since 1998, or even before 1998, we have a pool of over 60 players. And we believe wholeheartedly that we have within the pool of over 60 players, 30 that if they play together and stay together for the duration of this World Cup campaign, we will qualify for the Qatar World Cup in 2022. That's a strong sentiment shared across Jamaica. Majority of these players who would make up a 30-man squad, they ply their trade in Europe, in particular England, and in the leagues in England. Now there is an issue because due to COVID, when clubs release their players and they travel to what is called a red listed country, when they go back to their clubs, they have to quarantine for 10 days and complete and ensure that they have 2 negative COVID tests before they can integrate with their team and play. So what is the case? Say the players were sent to Jamaica to play the game and they get here for the 1st of September. All right? It's a 14-day window because there are 3 games. So they come on the 1st, they would finish on the 14th. So they will be away from their clubs from the 1st. In fact, many players would leave because by next week, Tuesday or so, players will be leaving their club. So by the 1st, they get there. So from the 1st to the 14th would bring it to September 15. And that is when the international window closes. When players come back, some will come back on the 16th. When they get back to their clubs on the 16th, there's a further 10 days that they have to be in quarantine, which takes it now to September 26th. Then when you get in, you're going to need probably 3 to 4 sessions, which means the entire month of September, these players could possibly not play for their clubs. And the clubs are saying that we will not allow that. If FIFA and the government in the UK does not put in a provision or create an exemption that when the players return, they don't have to go through the quarantine period, they can immediately come and integrate in their teams, we will not let the players go. And this is players from the Premier League level to the Championship to the league football. So that means, again, unless you're unattached as a reggae boy in England, you would not be allowed to travel. Or if you are allowed to, you could force the club's hand and say you want to go, but that could affect how things go with you at your club. Predicament for Jamaica, because with the exception of Damian Lowe and say Andre Blake and maybe a Kemar Lawrence or maybe Alvis Powell, all the other players that would start in that game against Mexico, I believe, are in England playing. Problems. So there's ongoing conversation about how this could be resolved. Now, understand, the clubs don't have a problem releasing the players as long as they have the guarantee that when the players return, they don't have to go through the quarantine. I think that's a reasonable position by the club. But I also believe that these clubs have always been looking for reasons to not send the players away. You see them do it with the African Cup of Nations. At the end of the day, all the English players who represent England, they can go and play. And again, it also affects people outside of Europe. It's almost like it's the rich that runs the world. And anything the rich people say, that's how it goes. I feel that the powerful nations dictate and they... listen, it's like slavery or enslavement. Slavery may have ended, but the enslavement of people is an ideology that is ever present in sport. Like the people who are richest, they have all the power, and there is a scant disregard shown to poorer class of nations. And that's just the truth. I'm very sure if English players were playing in Spain and they were red listed, the English FA would ensure that all the players play. And there are many of these coaches. I mean, David Moyes, for example, you have heard him say that he didn't want Mikel Antonio to play for Jamaica. He was trying to dissuade and discourage him. A lot of these guys, they don't want Salah. Liverpool don't want Salah to play for Egypt. These guys, really, they will come out and put out press releases. But the truth is, over the years, many of these coaches, I can go back and name and show you, cite articles where they indicate that international break messes up their team. Now, I think FIFA needs to do something. I do agree that the clubs pay the money and FIFA need to, like, I could say to FIFA that maybe FIFA need to ensure that the leagues don't start, because you can't start the league and as soon as the league starts every single year, after 2 weeks there's an international window. Then start the leagues later. Change the dates or something so players can play. Given the pandemic, I think FIFA should have made provisions for all the qualifiers to play in a central venue. That is still possible. Why can't you bring the teams into a bubble so no one has an unfair advantage and play all the games there over a period? Play the games in a couple of central locations so that everybody can benefit and everybody feels comfortable and everybody go back. So let's come back to how this affects Jamaica. Mexico is on that red list. And knowing the United Kingdom, listen, by the time they start going over there, I know them. Even if they don't feel like, listen, some of these countries, they hate how poorer people do well in sports. Very jealous. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. I know you don't believe it, let me prove it to you. Let me prove this to you. When athletes, you see what happened to the athletes with the high testosterone levels, that they stopped some of them from running, and then they came out and said it was inaccurate and influence. It's almost as if even if FIFA come in and changes things, these guys would say their players can't come to Jamaica. A lot of them, they have an issue. They have an issue. So I think CONCACAF needs to step in. Because what this would mean is that the Jamaica's game against Mexico, none of the English players could be played because Mexico is on the red list. That's the only team in this window that would be on the red list. Jamaica is not on it, so we could still play the game against Panama. But I believe that somehow these people are going to find a way to put Jamaica on it. I'm telling you, they just want one bad thing to happen and they say, Jamaica, you are on this list. Jamaica, you are on this list. So that will be affected. I don't see Costa Rica on it. It means that the players could fly to Costa Rica. But then, will the clubs allow that? Will the clubs allow that? Because knowing these guys, they are going to find a way. Remember, it's just Mexico that is on it. And they're already saying they're not releasing the players. And they're making a general statement. It's almost as if, listen, you can't go nowhere through this window. It's just for the Mexico game. It's Mexico alone on the list so far. Why are you making it so difficult? Why? My proposal to CONCACAF and to the GFF, if I were my crickets, I'd call the president of CONCACAF. Because the Caribbean have a lot of influence when it comes to elections and stuff. The Caribbean as a bloc has a lot of influence. So I'm calling the president of CONCACAF. And I'm saying, listen, we are willing, if Mexico is willing, to play the game in the United States. And we are willing for you to give Mexico some reprieve in terms of allowing spectators. And let them choose a venue. They have good support in Houston. They will make money. Because remember, Mexico, for the first 2 games of qualifiers, they can't have home games, they can't have any spectators. So those that will be playing in their Azteca, they would not be allowed to have spectators. I'm saying to them, listen, we are going to allow you to have spectators for this Jamaica game because you're on the red list. Your players will be affected, Jamaican players will be affected. Play the game in the United States. All right? And we are going to allow you spectators. And that way, the Jamaica national team can now travel and the players from England can come because they would not be affected. Because the United States cannot and will not be on any red list. Listen, even if 10 million people in America die from COVID, or 100 million, you cannot put in them. Cannot put them on no red list. It's not that they will not, they cannot. Cannot do it. So play it there. That's what I do. I'd play it in the United States. The only issue would be that there seem, we're not speculating. We know some stuff, but based on information, Ravel Morris would possibly not be a part of that game. I think it would be a blow to Jamaica and to Ravel because of the form that he's in, but he would still be available for the Panama and the Costa Rica game. I'm also saying, listen, worst come to worst, if we go to Mexico without our best team and we lose, I'm okay. Because we could still lose to Mexico with our best team. All right? What cannot happen is that we have major absentees for the Panama and the Costa Rica game. Because those two games we must win. I want to come out of this first round of qualifiers with 6 points. So when I come, minimum 6 points. I mean, I need 2 wins. If all things were being equal, I would take 5. But if I lose to Mexico, I want 6 points. I want to beat Costa Rica. I don't think Costa Rica is at their best. They have not recycled very well. And same thing I believe with Panama. Very old team and some of the regular faces that we have seen in World Cup cycles before. They're not a part of these teams anymore. So I believe that Jamaica stands a very good chance. And the truth is, would have probably still missed a Leon Bailey, who is out injured. So what would I do? Here's my starting 11. If no one who is attached to a club from England can make it. You want to hear? And I'm going to also put it in the description so you can see it. Here is my 11. Obviously, Andre Blake is going to keep. And I'm playing a back 3 with the 2 wing backs. All right? Who is my back 3? Damian Lowe, obviously. Adrian Mariappa, who can play. And Michael Hector. I think Michael Hector would do well in a back 3 with Mariappa and with Damian Lowe. Alright? Then I'm having Kemar Lawrence and Javian Brown. Alright? I think our biggest struggle would be what happens in midfield. Devon Speedy Williams had a good Gold Cup, so he comes and he plays in midfield. Alright? Again, this is based. Junior Fleming was at the Gold Cup, so he comes and he plays in midfield as well. So you have 8. Alright? I'll just go with Shamar Bose and Nicholson up front with Corey Burke. And so all I'm missing now is one other midfielder. And this, you see, now is where we always have the problem. I need one more holding midfielder. I heard about Joey Desert. Maybe I'd put him there just to hold. Because I need one more person to hold in that area. I don't know if anyone playing in the local league would be able to fill that gap. But that is the kind of team that I would start right there. I'd go 5 at the back, Speedy Williams, and I need one more person in midfield who is going to do a lot of work, a lot of tackling, to give some support here. In fact, let me tell you what we could also do, because we could put Alva Spore at right back and play Javian Brown inside, and then bring Michael Hector in midfield with Speedy along with Fleming. So you play 3 in midfield, so you have 5-3, and up front you play one striker behind the other, right? You put Shamar Nicholson as your point man to just hold up, use his aerial powers, and then you have right behind him you'd have Corey Burke. Remember, you also still have Andre Gray, who could be available for this game. You have the Kaheem Paris, you have the Martin Davis, you have the Norman Campbell, you have Javon East, you have Tyreek McGee. So we still have some players who have been in and around the squad. who we could form a team and just try to go there, sit back and see if we can get a point coming out of that, or at least don't get embarrassed. I'm sure that come what may, we can get 6 points from our first 3 games. I am sure that the JFF will work with CONCACAF and with government to work the best solution so that our best players can be available. I am sure that this is just one more way that the wealthy seeks to exploit and enslave mentally those who the rich exploit and enslave those who are not so well off. But Jaja now sleep. And what was meant to evil for evil will work for all. I am sure that this will not stop the progress to get up. Jamaica will qualify. I am sure that West Indies cricket is going to turn around. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate and we love you. Stay safe, people. Sanitize. Social distance. And wear your mask. No doubt.